Hey guys, what is going on? It is RC Knockout and I am back with another video. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Nolan. In today's video, I have some much needed upgrades I need to do to my Traxxas Xmaxx. So, what are those upgrades, you might ask? Well, I'm going to be upgrading to RPM suspension arms, as well as RPM hub carriers for the rear. So, I've had these sitting around for a few months now and I haven't broke any arms, but I thought it's about time I actually upgrade these. So that's what I'm doing in today's video. So this is a bit of an install video, so let me grab the camera, move it a little bit closer, and we're gonna jump right in this video. So if you're wondering what the part number is, the part number for the new rear hub carriers is 81732. And these are much larger than the stock hub carriers, and they're much tougher. And they also include new bearings, because it has slightly larger bearings than the stock size bearings, so it comes with new ones. And if you're wondering what the part number is for the arms, it is 82352, and these basically are universal for all four corners. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and pull the body off, set that aside. I think we're going to focus on this front left suspension arm to begin with. And first we're going to want to go ahead and just remove this wheel. It's going to make stuff way easier. I got my 17mm wheel wrench right here. Let's go ahead, get this off. I got the nut off. Go ahead, pull the wheel off. I'm going to use that to support the suspension arm right here. And I think we're going to need a combination of 2.5mm as well as 2mm hex drivers. And we're going to go ahead and begin by just undoing these little screws right here and here. And this is what captures the pin right here. So this keeps the pin in, and those are 2mm. Go ahead, undo those. Got one. Set that aside. And then you can go ahead and you can push the pin out from the back side. And go ahead and grab that with my pliers. And we got one pin out, just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and take off the bottom one, which is also a 2mm. So go ahead, get that unscrewed. Almost dropped it. Alright, got that one. Set that aside. And then we can go ahead and push from the back and push that pin out. Now we just have I guess this would be the C knuckle and well, this would be the steering knuckle and the C hub right here. We just have that dangling. And I think we can access these ones right here without removing any of the front bumper or any of the skid plate, I believe. So let's go ahead and try that. So there's a 2mm right here that captures the it has a little plastic cap piece that captures the pin actually. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get that. That's a 2mm. So use our 2mm. Oh. Undo that. Hopefully you guys can see all right. All right, and it looks like that. So this piece right here actually captures the pin. So that's kind of nice. And then this one right here, I then can go ahead and pull out from the front, like such. Set that aside, and then the bottom one, that's a 2mm that holds that. Gonna go ahead, get that unscrewed. Got that one, set that aside, and I think we should be able to get that pushed from the back side, that pin. Yep, there it is. Now can I get it pulled out? Tight squeeze, but yes. So got that pin out, go ahead, set that aside. Now the upper arm right here is actually off. The bottom arm, all I have to do now is disconnect the shock, the bottom of the shock, which that's held on by a 2mm that captures that pin. All right, guys, I grabbed my other little Allen's key right here because this one right here is kind of dulled, so I think I don't want to strip this out, so it's going to be much easier. This one's a lot better shape. So that's also a 2mm, so go ahead, undo that. All right, got that. Set that aside, and then we can go ahead and just push the shock pin out from behind. Whoop, that went all the way through. Got that. Grab the shock, and now this arm is off. And it's as simple as that, guys. So I'm going to go ahead, install the new arms. So we're going to have to pull some of the screws and stuff. So some of these 2mm that captured like the back side of the pins, I'm going to have to take those off and transfer those onto the RPM arms. Now, one thing I do know about the RPM arms is that they're so flexible that people have issues with the pin actually flying out. That's why a lot of them do the, I think it's like a pin screw that has a nut on the end, so there's no way it can come out, but I don't have that. So I'm probably going to try it like this, and if I start having issues with the pin coming out, then we're going to go ahead and probably upgrade to something else. So we're going to go ahead and get this open. I'm just going to show you on one, and then I'll do the rest off camera. I also want to show you guys the RPM hub carrier install. That shouldn't be too difficult either. So really all I had to do was go ahead and take the screw off that holds the back portion of the pin. So when I slide the pin through, this is basically how it's held in. So when I push the pin through from the front side, it won't go through the back because part of that screw is covering it up. But you can see since it's so flexible, that it still has a possibility it can slip out. And that's happened even with the stock arms for me, where it slipped out from underneath that screw. So it's super convenient, but it's not 100% guaranteed that it'll stay in. That's the thing. So it kind of captures the pin. So I put that one on the back side, and I also put this one on the back side of the lower one. So then I can just slide the pin in. I don't have to worry about screwing that on after I have it installed. So now we're going to go ahead. I'm going to start with the bottom one and get that lined up. Oh, it's a tight squeeze. All right, and then our long pin, that's the one that goes through the bottom. Got to get that lined up. Okay, got it. There we go. And now it's sitting flush. And then we can go ahead and grab one of the ones that we took off. Grab our 2mm and screw that on the front part. And that'll then capture that pin. All right, got that one tightened up. I think what we're going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to go ahead and install the pin for the shock. So just slide the shock into place. We're going to grab our pin right here that goes through the shock, the lower shock mount. There. Then we're going to go ahead and put our 2mm that captures that pin in there. That just screws into the front. And you always want to do this by hand. Because anytime you're threading into plastic, I mean, you can screw it most of the way down using a power tool, but I would not screw it all the way down. You're very, very likely to strip out those threads. So that's why I like to do anything into plastic, especially with new threads, I like to do by hand. Got that on. So now the bottom arm's on. We can go ahead and put the top one on. So when I demonstrate it, I need to pull that pin back out. So we got this 2mm right here on the back side, and it goes right up here, and there's two sets of holes, and it came out of the upper one. That's the one we had it in, the upper. And let's see, it was this pin right here. We're gonna go ahead and line that up. Come on. That pin sticks out a little bit because it has this little plastic cap piece that captures it with the 2mm. So I'm gonna go ahead, put that over the pin, and then screw that down. All right, got that. And now both the arms are on, so now all we have to do is reconnect the C-hub and the steering knuckle. So we're gonna go ahead and slide the dog bone of the drive shaft back into the drive cup, and then line this up, and then put our pin through the bottom. There. All right, got it pushed in, and then we got our 2mm that then will capture that. Then we go ahead, screw that down. I need my other one so I don't strip this. It's pretty simple, guys. Like, really, it's pretty easy to work on the Xmaxx. A lot of Traxxas vehicles are pretty easy to work on. All right, now all we have to do is go ahead and reconnect the upper arm. Grab the pin, slide the pin through. There we go. And grab our 2mm that captures the pin, and go ahead and screw that into the top. I do apologize if my hands are in the way. I'm doing an outdoor video. I'm sure you guys can probably tell I'm outside. I've been doing these lately, and as long as there's not too much wind, it usually works out pretty well. Let me know in the comments if you like these outdoor videos. But we are done with the front left suspension arm, upper and lower. And it's as simple as that, guys, and now they're on. So I'm gonna do the rest on all the other 3 corners. I'm gonna do that off camera, but what I do wanna show you is I wanna show you guys the install of the hub carriers. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this wheel put back on, then we're gonna switch over to the back and put these on. One thing I do want to point out real quick with the rear one, it's much easier, because this is one thing that with the wheelie bar is actually kind of in the way of getting to this 2 mil. So what I do is I just go ahead and remove the 2.5 on the side. You can pull this whole thing aside and then you can access that screw that holds this little piece in place. Makes it way easier, makes it way less likely you're going to strip it out. So I just want to point that out real quick. Alright, now we are going to work on that rear hub carrier. So I'm going to go ahead, unscrew the wheel nut, go ahead, grab the wheel off. Another thing I really appreciate about Traxxas is what they do with their 17, well, this is a 24 mil hub, I think, or hex, but I really like what they do with their hexes, at least for the 17 mil and the larger Xmaxx ones, because they have these ridges in them, which makes it much more difficult to actually round out the hexes in these, which I do appreciate. Unfortunately, they don't do that with the Slash and the smaller machines, and those 12 millimeter ones spin out so easily. It's very frustrating, actually. But you can't really see from that side, but we got the 2 screws, one here and here, that capture the pins in. We're going to want to unscrew those. Those are both 2 mil, and push the pins out. So I'm going to do that from the front side here. Alright, got one, set that aside. We'll get the bottom one right now. Got that one, set that aside. Then from the back side, we can go ahead and push the pins through. And I'm going to grab them with my pliers. Got one. Got the bottom one, and now just comes out like that. So now what we need to do is we need to get this little clip off right here, and you want to be careful. You don't want to lose this. I'm going to use a little flathead screwdriver. I'm going to try my best not to lose this little piece right here. So there's a little groove that runs around here, and we need to snap this piece off so we can get this hex off. And I'm just going to do it like there. Got that? Set that aside. Then the plastic hex will come off. And then we can go ahead and pull the stub axle out the back side. Ooh, and I can see I was missing the rubber shield on the back on this rear bearing right here. Front bearing's still in good shape. It still spins smoothly though. But we're going to be replacing the, I think it's the outer ones. So let's go ahead, let's get this opened up, the new hub carriers. And let's see if they're universal or if it matters. They should be, oh yeah, they do matter. So right, left. So this is the right side right here. And yeah, it looks like it just comes with 2 new bearings, so it's going to be the outer bearings that are the bigger ones. And I think the reason is just so these bigger ones can, because when you land, a lot of that impact is going to these outer bearings, or these, I don't know if these would be the inner or the outer, the far bearings. So here it is, and you can't really see, but it's significantly larger than that bearing in there. Significantly larger. So we're going to go ahead, push that in from the back side. That goes in pretty darn easily, actually. Then we do have to push this bearing out because we need to reuse the outer bearing. And then go ahead, push the outer bearing in. Both of them, that one still spins smoothly. And then it's as simple as putting the stub axle back through, getting the hex back on, and then getting this back in place, which you don't want to fling it. It's very easy to fling this thing. So basically, get that on there. I might be able to do it. I think that's on. Let me make sure. Yep, that's on. That got captured in that little channel that wraps around the stub axle. And then basically place the dog bone back in to the drive cup. Go ahead, grab one of the pins, put it in from the front side, push it all the way in, and then go ahead, the upper one, exact same thing. Okay, and I get it lined up there. And then basically just replace these two screws right here that capture the pin. I'm not going to show that because I've done that how many times. I'll do the other ones off camera, but basically that's the install, guys. So if you did enjoy this video and you feel like you learned something, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. I put a lot of time and effort into making these videos, and anytime you guys are hitting the thumbs up button, I really do appreciate it. And that's especially true for these upgrade videos and these repair videos, because they take a long time to edit, they take a long time to film, and it's much easier to not film this stuff. So I really kind of want to know if you guys are actually enjoying it, because otherwise, if it's not worth my time making them and people aren't going to watch them and aren't liking them, then there's no point in me doing it. So if you do feel like you gained something, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do so. We're going to have to test this in the next video. I am interested to know whether or not the pins are going to come out. There's definitely a possibility that could happen, where the pins could fly out. Just because of how flexible these arms are, but we're just going to have to see. But the hub carriers, I've actually only broken one of these rear hub carriers since I've owned any of my Xmaxes, actually. But I do know they're a weak point on this machine, so this is much sturdier. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to wrap the rest up off camera, and I look forward to seeing you guys next video. Later.